Hello everyone, and welcome to another Gundam review. This will be a little bit different, because I have my brother here, so we can talk about Gundam Builds Metaverse. Yay?
Yay!
It's one of those things where I don't think either of us wanted to watch this, and considering, there's a lot of good series you haven't even seen yet, like Turn A Gundam.
Or X.
We're watching this instead. For those who don't know, this takes place in the same universe as Build Fighters, Build Fighters Try, Build Divers Re-Rise. It's probably a lot more enjoyable if you've seen those series and know the characters.
So that you understand the cameos? All of the cameos?
And we understand none of the cameos.
Because we've seen none of those series.
Because we have taste. Alright, so let's just kind of get the story in quotations out of the way real quick. It follows Rio, a brand new character who is training with Saria. I think it's pronounced Saria. And they use VR Gunpla battles in the Metaverse because
Metaverse was like the new hotness in like 2019.
So this is very timely, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I can't wait for in 2025 for the Gundam NFTs.
Yeah, that's going to be super on the nose for them to do. So in the first episode, we get a team battle, 2-on-2, with several characters from Build Divers. And at the end, Rio's like, wait, those were the real Build Divers? Oh my god! So that's cool. I feel it's an unfair match because it's like a weird SD Gundam and a Capsule variant
versus two normal Gundams.
And I'm like, this feels a little unfair.
A little.
And that's kind of the plot episode 1. There's a little after credits thing where Saria ends up getting defeated by a mysterious new villain who in episode 2 we learn is her sister. We needed to put some sort of drama in here. So we get a little bit of Saria's backstory.
You need to have the drama, otherwise it's not engaging.
We get like Mr. Bad Touch who shows up.
He does.
He
does show up
so much.
And he's also flamboyantly gay.
Yeah. Offensively so.
Yeah, but that's not the only offensive thing in episode 2.
Yeah. I was going to get to this in the characters section, but we'll just bring it up now. Saria's avatar is a dark-skinned woman.
And her sisters.
What was it?
And her sisters.
And her sisters,
because they both have basically the same avatar.
Yeah, they basically have the same avatar, and they're dark-skinned women. These are light-skinned, light-haired ladies IRL. It's very cringe. I don't know who decided that was a good choice. And here's the thing. I have played as a Red Guard in Elder Scrolls. I have used a dark-skinned Shepherd in Mass Effect, amongst other games that allow you to have those characters.
Yeah.
But when I create an avatar of myself on some sort of forum or what have you, my me, for example, back on the Wii,
generally looks like you.
Yes.
Or me.
A cartoonish, silly version of myself.
Look like yourself, or an idealized version of yourself, or a furry, or like a cat girl, which also appear in the series.
Yes. And those ones make more sense to me. I can see people doing like kind of a furry kind of thing. But the thing is, most people don't change their skin tone for their avatar. And that's...
Yes. It's a decision.
It's a decision. Anyhow, eventually Rio goes into a boss raid with fun little mooks that are all Death Army. Just kind of
Death Army. And as a fan of G Gundam, that made me happy because we don't see G Gundam very often.
Yeah, G Gundam tends to get the short end of the stick when it comes to Gunpla kits in general, unless it's called Burning Gundam, God Gundam, or Master Gundam.
And that's it.
Although Rose Gundam did get released this year, so...
Yay!
I think it's a P Bandai, though. So again, short end of the stick.
Yeah,
and then
our main character teams up with one of the cameos.
One of the guys, I think, from Re-Rise? And then another cameo shows up as like, hey, you beat the raid boss. Let's fight for some reason.
Because that'd be cool. And then they do.
There's a lot of and they fight in this. Right? It's basically episode 2. I think this is kind of the highlight of the thing, despite some of the questionable choices. Just because
I think it's because the fight was
raid
cool.
Battle.
The raid battle was cool, and you could understand what was going on.
And then we have episode 3, which I guess is like a big battle royale type tournament with teams.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Team-based battle royale.
Spoiler, there will be no conclusion to this battle, so we don't know what team wins. But this was the excuse for Rio to battle against Saria's sister, Maria, and go, hey, stop hating your sister and just do Gunpla stuff with her. Wouldn't that be cool? And Maria's like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, basically.
And then cameos just start wailing on each other left and right.
And that's 90% of the episode. So if you've seen the other Build Fighters and Build Diver series, you might enjoy it. If you haven't, you have no idea who any of these people are and what's going on.
I'm also going to point out no fight is conclusive. It's not, no one wins.
Correct. It's like, oh, these two characters are fighting. Then all of a sudden a third character shows up and they start fighting. And then one of those characters leaves and starts fighting another character. And none of the fights have any victors when it comes to named characters.
So we don't see who wins the Battle Royale. We don't see any victories amongst any of the characters fighting each other throughout this entire episode. And as an after credits, we get to see Rio take on his teacher, and they do that thing I absolutely hate where the two units dash at each other, collide beam sabers, and then it just fades away. Because why should we see a conclusion to any fight amongst two characters? I haven't seen a lot of the Build Fighters series, but what I have seen is oftentimes they have Gundam battles or Gunpla battles, and there's a winner. The first two episodes had a winner. And then episode 3, like, no winners. Everyone's a winner. Here's a trophy, everybody. Here's all your participation trophies. Have fun.
I think it's because there didn't need to be a winner, but it makes the fight less exciting.
Yes. Themes? Buy Gunpla?
Buy more Gunpla.
And if you get in a fight with a sibling, like, work that out, I guess.
Yeah. When you get in a fight with your sibling, don't let it drag on for like years and years where you develop this unhealthy hatred of each other. Kind of hate that villain motivation where it's like, if you just talked, you could just work this out. Antagonist motivation, where you just talk, you just work it out, but instead you don't. You just let your feelings simmer until it becomes an unhealthy, hateful obsession when it literally could have been solved with like a 5-minute conversation.
Yeah, it's an issue I have with a lot of superhero fights where the two superheroes run into each other, so they have to start punching instead. So I'm going like, who are you?
At least their moms both have the same name.
Yes, at least there's that. And well, in defense, Syria and Maria's mom does have the same name.
Does have the same name, because it's the same person.
In case someone goes, why would you think there'd be themes? G.I. Joe, the 1980s version, is a toy commercial. I don't think anyone's going to deny that.
It's explicitly designed to sell toys, just
yes.
like Transformers G1 and Ninja Turtles.
Which all three of those shows have either camaraderie or family or friendship.
Good versus evil.
There's a lot of themes that you can see in those episodes. Now, some episodes are silly, yes, but we do occasionally get an overarching theme that kind of makes those shows deeper than what they are. This really doesn't have it. It's just, hey, look at these cameos fight each other in cool robots.
Hey, cool robot. And that's it. There's no wars back, just hey, cool robot.
Yep. Don't know if there's much to really say about the characters we haven't already said.
Yeah.
They're all pretty shallow. There's not a lot here to discuss.
Because it's like 3 episodes.
Yeah. Rio likes
literally 3 episodes.
Syria has, she's super shy and has issues with her sister. Maria is a psychopath and has issues with her sister. Cameos. Going into the aesthetics, I had no issues with the opening or ending music. They were very fine, generic music.
Yeah.
I am curious if some of the background music was themes from different Build Fighters series.
But that would require watching different Build Fighter series. Or you can tell us in the comments.
I mean, technically I could listen to the soundtracks of those series and find out.
Jared, the algorithm demands engagement.
It does. The one thing I noticed on the animation is that the first episode looked really, really good and flashy.
Yeah.
And I feel like the animation declined with each episode. I can't prove it. It just feels that way.
I don't think that's true. I think the animation stayed relatively, similar. It's just more and more happened in each episode, making the screen more cluttered and harder to tell what was actually going on.
That might be it. And of course, the fun part to talk about when it comes to aesthetics on Gundam series, of course, is the robots.
Hey, cool robot.
God, did we get a lot of them.
Yes.
And many of them have become Gunpla kits because that's the purpose of the show.
Buy more Gunpla.
So I'm going to go over the ones that are going to become kits, or at least that I have found notation are becoming kits or have already been released as kits. And everything else is more or less stuff from previous existing series. Our main unit is the Law Gundam, and not cool like LAW, it's like a cop Gundam. No. LAH.
LAH. But like you're singing? But even not that, because that's LA.
I don't know. It's a dumb name for a robot. It's a modified RX-78. It has a cool spear. I do dig the spear.
Got a beam Naginata, which is cool. It's nice to see different beam-based weapons, instead of everyone having a beam saber.
I do appreciate that. Otherwise, it's not aesthetically impressive. And
it's a RX-78 with red instead of blue.
Yes, and a spear. And not the spear that the RX-78 has.
It's got a Naginata. You know what
Naginata.
For those that don't know what a Naginata is, a glaive.
There'll be a picture, don't worry. The other one that's getting released as a entry grade is, oh God, I hate this name. Build Strike Exceed Gundam.
Which one is that?
That is the Strike variant from the 3rd episode that one of the cameos wields.
Okay.
It's a Strike Gundam with extra stuff on it. I like Strike Gundam's design in general, but like this one was a little too busy. I think it's one of the problems I have with some of the Build franchise units is sometimes they get too much extra junk on them.
Sometimes they look really nice. Sometimes they're just, how much garbage can we glue onto a Gundam?
The only other one that's kind of an odd grade, that is to say not a HG, is the SD F Konoichi Kai, which is this weird chibi unit.
It's a Konoichi SD Gundam. I'm perfectly fine with that idea. Then it can like duplicate into like other different SD Gundams.
It's kind of a cool looking design, especially comparatively to, again, the over-engineered units that we sometimes get in the SD lines, especially SD World Heroes. Some of those units are just, what? And this one is relatively simple in terms of its design, but it looks kind of cool.
Yep.
I'm not really an SD Gundam collector, but if I was, this would be a strong one to go for. I have a friend who is, so he'd probably really enjoy it. Okay, now we're going to go into some of the HG kits. Gundam 00 Diver Arc, which is...
New 00 Diver.
Yeah, new 00 Diver. It's kind of more of a palette swap. I think it has probably maybe some different weapons, but I think it looks cool. I like the 00 Diver to begin with, I think. It's one of the cooler looking variants.
Looks cool.
Shin Burning Gundam. I don't even remember this from the show.
I think that's the Gundam that, like, at the end of episode 2, the guy who's like, hey, I'm going to fight you guys. I think that's what he uses.
Okay, that makes sense, because they had kind of a G Gundam thing going with that episode.
Yeah.
The Pluto 9 Gundam, the core Gundam with the Pluto armor, which was the assist friend in episode 2. In the episode, the core Gundam was dark. It was like black colored. And the way they're going to release it is make it an Ecopla, where it's recycled plastic for the body, which I think is really awesome. I like the look of it too. The dark color works well with the Pluto armor. The Typhoeus Gundam Chimera, our overly engineered villain unit from the final episode.
When it's in its mobile armor form, and maybe this is just me, it looks like a dreadnought from Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, it's weird and bulky, and I don't like it.
It is way too boxy to be a Gundam.
And our final one is one that I don't remember showing up, but I guess one cameo, probably in episode 3, had it, is the Gundam Perfect Strike Freedom Rouge.
I'm fairly certain that's just from the Seed movie.
There's nothing wrong with this. I mean, it's basically a recolor, as far as I can tell.
So it goes 3 times fast. There's a lot of red Gundams in this one.
Yeah, there are. It's kind of strange.
Red and black was the 2 colors.
As a toy commercial, I don't think it was as effective as Gundam Breaker Battlelog, primarily because we see the units themselves and only really just the new toys fighting each other.
Yeah.
So in this one, it just throws units from the original shows with the new units, and they're all just flying at your face, and it's hard to keep track of who's piloting what is what.
Especially in episode 3.
Episode 3 is a mess.
Because it's also a battle royale, there's constant explosions in the background.
It basically doesn't really work great for selling stuff, but I guess if you like this, there's 2 entry grades if you've never built a Gunpla before.
I think that's its entire purpose.
There's some actually nice looking entry grades. The Strike entry grade looks really, really nice, and it's compatible with the actual Strike packs. So
yay!
The other one that looks good is the entry grade New Gundam, although it doesn't come with the fin funnels, so that's kind of an issue. Kind of need those. It's kind of part of the suit. So there's nothing against entry grades here. I think it's kind of a cool way to get people in, and you may as well use...
a toy commercial to sell entry grades, so that people will be like, hey, I like this?
Yeah, because the Law Gundam is just a modified version of the 78 entry grade, and the Strike whatever is a
modified version of the Strike entry grade.
Yeah, so they already had those kits to begin with. They just changed some armor parts, added some gear. I think the Konoichi one could possibly get some popularity, even if you've never seen this. It's just kind of a cool-looking machine out of the SD line.
Also, it's nice to see the SD units get recognized.
Like I said, the only issue I had with that first episode is this feels like an unbalanced fight.
Because it was.
Now, the Konoichi had some special powers and stuff, and that was really cool.
Because ninja.
But it's still in that category where you're looking at that going this feels
it's
a little
also
unbalanced.
half the size of the normal Gundam.
Yeah.
And its partner was a Capul.
They really like making modified Capuls, because one of the characters in the Gundam Breaker mobile game also has her own personalized Capul, and you're like, why? This Junker water unit from Double Zeta Gundam.
I have no idea. I do it just to screw with people, because I think it'd be funny. But I have no idea why anyone would actively build one. Yes.
If I was going to do a modified water unit, I would do it to enter a Gunpla contest, just to have the judge look at it and go, wait, what? That moment where their brain kind of short circuits, because everyone has these overly engineered variants of...
And you have a Hygog.
And I have Hygog, yes. Bottom line, I don't recommend this, but it's not intrinsically terrible. It's just dumb.
There's no reason to watch it, because if you're into Gundam, it won't do anything.
Yeah.
If you like the divers, you might like the cameos, but it doesn't add anything to the story of the Build universe, and it's just generally okay. It's stupid, and it's meh, and it's just sort of there.
It feels like Bandai threw way too much money into making this commercial when they could have possibly given us anything else.
And I think I know the reason. Because remember when Bandai was actively trying to make the Gundam Metaverse?
Yeah.
I think they still are.
Oh man, you know what I love? Inconvenient ways of accessing the internet. It's the worst idea. Hey, it's the same internet you had before, but now it's like more cumbersome.
But now you can get motion sickness.
Yeah, great, thanks. And of course, VR Gundam battles would definitely cause motion sickness.
Oh, everyone would be just vomiting everywhere. It'd be a vomitorium.
Because I know they've made like pods where you're piloting the Gundam and stuff, and I think those would be a lot of fun.
That's super cool.
But I think if putting on the VR headset thing, I think would just put it to a level of just making it not fun. But yeah, I guess the only people who would really enjoy this are people who really love the build/diververse.
Yeah, because you can enjoy the cameos, but even then it doesn't add anything.
Yeah, there's no point in seeing these people like spar with each other because it's not
because
like,
no,
this rivalry will get resolved.
Win.
Yeah.
And it's not even really an actual fight because we don't really see them spar with each other in the way you'd want to see them like go full out like a proper battle because we need to focus on the new characters.
Exactly. Here's a 30 seconds of these characters squaring off with each other, and now let's get back to the main cast. And you're like, oh, cool. So yeah, this feels kind of pointless outside of, hey, let's showcase some new toys. And I'll give it points because they did a weird CG 00 shorts that were designed to sell new toys, and the CG 00 shorts are terrible. I do not recommend ever watching those. They put no money into that CG.
Like, less money than Igloo got?
Less money than Igloo, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, it looks rough. You could find them.
I'd rather not.
But it's in that category where, that's probably the worst toy commercial. I guess thus far, Battlelog is my favorite toy commercial, and this one's somewhere in between.
It's a toy commercial.
That's going to be the title of this review, isn't it? It's a toy commercial.
In conclusion, buy more Gunpla. That's going to be the title of the review.
Thank you for joining us. I'll try to get some more Gundam-related videos out soon. Hopefully I can talk about something better than the Build universe.
Buy more Gunpla.
And until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you
buying more Gunpla.